even though we got blown out.
I honestly thought they'd win. I did the same thing.
That's why I don't regret it. Although I'm in a work league as well, and someone did actually pick the Eagles. There's only 5 of us in it, and someone picked the Eagles. So good on them. I don't know if anyone in I don't know. There's like 20 plus people in our league.
Yeah.
Over 20 people. 21, I think. And
that's a lot. I think that's
and I don't think anyone picked the Eagles.
So you guys drafted a lot of turds. Like there's I think we have 14 in my work one, and I have a ton of people on my team. I don't even know who they are.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, I did last year more. So I've gotten to know them a little bit. Luckily, fantasy has helped me actually get to know some of the players a little better.
Mm-hmm. So last week, though, how many did we all actually get right? I got 9. Derek, you also got 9.
Yeah.
And Sean, you got 8?
Yeah.
Oh, it calculates this differently now.
Yeah, it adds up weird. I don't even know how to go back and just select a single week.
I wonder if this is this now just showing us basically it's just keeping us ranked by how many we choose. It must be just a total accumulative.
Cumulative, yeah.
Yeah,
it's cumulative, yeah.
Like, oh.
Let's start the show, baby.
Do I like that?
Once it drops your worst week, you will.
Aha, there's the rub.
There's the rub.
Oh, I like that.
It's the sports program on TSPN with Derek, Zach, and Sean, who's been here the whole time. Head over to timespentpoorly.com and give the show a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and help move this show into more people's suggested lists. This show is also streamed live on many platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Follow and subscribe so you don't miss out on an opportunity to chat in and give the guys a piece of your mind during the broadcast. Want to support the show? Great! Go to patreon.com/timespentpoorly to see how you can do that. And now it's my pleasure to bring you the hosts of the sports program on TSPN, Derek, Zach, and Sean.
Hey, welcome to the show. Sports program.
Sports pregame
program. Man, we are live at noon-ish on a Saturday. Boy, you know we're going to have a show every single week when it's fantasy week.
Mm-hmm.
We skip a ton of stuff.
Baby.
Yeah, if it's not football season, you might not see us, and you probably won't.
And you probably won't.
During the summer, I'm comfortable with us doing like little hiatuses and stuff. But I think during this time of the year, this is the time where we have to be here. This is it. People rely on this.
They do.
They rely on this show,
mm-hmm.
and on Zach mostly.
Mm-hmm.
They rely on Zach.
Stupid dumb shits need me.
Okay. First off, I want a couple things right out of the gate. I wanted to throw out there. I wrote down a couple things I wanted to mention. Firstly, this year is the first year sports program has chosen a team as their team that I don't give a shit about. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I tried making an audio clip of the Bears, and by the time I was done making it, I've now deleted it because I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah, I don't like that old the Bears thing.
I didn't even upload it. To the thing. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this. So I'm comfortable saying that we don't have to have a team this year.
Like at all?
Or we just go back to the Washington Football Club for men.
I think so because Heineke is the truth.
I'm not going Jaguars.
The only problem is if we bring back Washington, we also have to bring back the Washington rule.
Yeah, we do, and I am ready.
I'll have to probably go buy something, but
you don't have that. You don't have that still sitting there. That whiskey.
Let's pray on it. And then the other thing I had was a little shout out to the Lapway Wildcats who they won their second game. They won.
Oh, they did.
MEI 60-28 or something like that. And the starter for the game was a kid named Terrell Ellenwood Jones, and he was like the Slim Reaper out there. He's so skinny.
The Slim Reaper.
He started at quarterback because the quarterback was out.
What happened?
I think he hurt his heel.
Oh,
so
during the first game,
he had a performance. This kid had as a junior, and it was seriously, dude. It was a performance out there.
When is the next home game?
Friday. Next Friday. They're playing Genesee next.
I mean, we could go again.
Yeah, we could. Anyway, so that's it.
That's cool. That's exciting. So we're not doing the Bears. The Bears are out. No.
I tried for the week. I tried caring. I just couldn't even. Of all the teams that we chose, I ended up caring more tongue in cheek about the other teams, and I don't care about the Bears.
Yeah, there's just something about the Bears. Even though I love Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
I just can't
Andy
like
Dalton,
their team.
I don't want to root for a little bit. I like
Andy. What do they call him? The Red Rocket or something?
Yep.
Isn't that what they call him?
He's the Red Rooster.
Oh, my bad.
I think the Red Rocket's what he called
Red Rocket was already taken. Red Rocket was already taken by like 400,000 dogs on the planet. So I'm sorry, but he filed for Red Rocket, and like the Taco Bell dog sued him. So
my bad, guys.
All right.
That's okay. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that that's what dogs call their little dongers.
Yeah, they don't. The dogs actually don't know that's what we call it.
Did you ever see the movie Garden State? Natalie Portman's like, "There's his lipstick."
Yeah, I don't remember. I've seen it, but I don't remember that. But that's hilarious.
There's his lipstick.
Yeah, that's weird. It's a movie that everyone says they really like, but almost no one remembers any part of the movie.
Oh, the only thing I remember is the guy.
The movie I remember.
The only part of the movie I remember is the guy that invented Velcro.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Is he the guy they go to his apartment? Or
yeah,
I remember it being very. I remember the movie being very melancholy. I remember it being. I remember having Natalie Portman in it and her saying "there's lipstick." I remember them shouting into a hole, and that's all I remember about that movie.
Soundtrack.
The soundtrack. I think I think people like the soundtrack more than they liked the actual movie.
If you like the shit, I guess.
This is a show about movies now.
And his dad is Bilbo.
Mm-hmm.
Before he was, I think so.
Yeah, he's Bilbo before he was Bilbo.
Or the same time he was Bilbo.
I don't know. Time? It could have been.
I don't know anymore.
He's old Bilbo though.
It's not the young actor Bilbo.
It's not. Whatever his name is.
It's the guy that was an alien.
It's the guy who was an alien. He's also in the Fifth Element, isn't he? In the Fifth Element, he's the priest.
Yeah, he's the priest.
Oh my gosh,
the old priest.
I think you're totally right.
Yeah, I think he's the priest. How did I love the Fifth Element too, and I'm just now putting those two together. That's Bilbo Baggins.
You know what I put together today? This is big time. The first no one ever watches the first season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but there's an episode where Charlie finds out he has a kid, ends up not being his kid.
Favorite episodes.
That kid is Meredith Palmer's son in The Office.
Palmer's son.
Yep.
And it's the same, like in The Office keeps the exact same kid all the way until adulthood, because the very last episode where Angela gets married, he's the stripper. And it's the same kid. It's like they didn't replace him.
Act like I'm not here, my little entrepreneur.
I think that was something The Office was really good about, was bringing back the same characters.
Oh, yeah,
except for Pam's parents. Except for Pam's mom.
Parents.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, specifically their mom. They show her mom in episode 2, and she's like, "Which one's Jim?" And she's like kind of younger. Younger. And then I think they change her for the simple like narrative of Michael Scott being grossed out once he finds out how old he is or how old she is.
It's so fun.
Even though they're basically the same age.
Dude, when he goes to meet Pam's mom and apologize to her, and she's at the park, and he starts talking to a little old lady on the park bench.
He just assumes that in like a year, that's how much she's aged.
He's like, "Hello, hi, Helene."
He's super gentle with her.
Yeah. He's such an idiot. It's the best.
Yeah, I love it.
We're thinking about restarting it again. We just finished it last weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
We're like, what's our next show gonna be? And I'm like, we could just restart it. No, and that's why we went to season 1 of It's Always Sunny, and that's how I made the connection. I was like, oh, because I just watched him as an adult lap dancing, and now I'm seeing him as a kid again. And he was the ultimate little kid turd. Like that kid nailed that role.
He's such a little fucker, dude.
By the way, couple things. What We Do in the Shadows season 3 has started airing.
Yeah. How many episodes are out? I haven't started
4.
it yet. We're letting them
funny so far.
Letting them build up.
It's funny so far, but it is. You can tell the writing style is different.
Yeah.
It does not have the same hit. The only character who's really truly the same is probably Laszlo. Because he just doesn't change. He just sits there and reads his old pornography books, and it's so good.
He's my favorite character by far.
I have the biggest crush on the vampire girl,
Nadia. She's very good in the new season.
Yeah.
The Jesk.
No one's bad. It's just there's nothing in like the first 2 seasons. There's some absolutely like gut rolling parts. None of that's happened yet. It's just it's all been subtle so far.
Yeah. So that's been good. Also, I don't know if you guys had a chance yet. This is the non-sports portion of a sports program.
Yeah.
Why the Last Man?
Oh yeah,
is on Hulu right now,
and it's only on Hulu. So it's an FX show, but it's only on Hulu.
Yeah, and they released I think we've watched about 5 episodes now.
I think they cranked out 3 first week.
How is it? How is it compared to the comic?
Well, it's strayed from the comic a little bit so far, but it's like it's really good though. I've enjoyed the show a lot. They've really captured what the comic does, which is putting the hope of man in the hands of a very incapable person.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a really good job. The guy they picked to play him is I think he's perfect. I've never seen him.
Is the premise, because I haven't read the comic, and even looked into it. Usually if I haven't read a comic series, I at least do a little research. But with this, I was just going to go into the show blind. Is he a guy you would not want to be the last guy?
Yeah. Like he's like the comic book makes a point of pointing out that he's an English like he has an English degree. He's a magician. He can't he doesn't have a job because he's like a magician. Illusions, Michael.
Okay.
I like it.
And he's just not he's not tough. The show a couple times, he's already there's been a few situations where they're super stressful, and one of them he has a panic attack, and he's already cried a bunch of times. He's an emotional, normal guy. Because I do think somebody would be an emotional person in this situation. There's no other men left.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too dark. I was trying to change the lighting in here, and hold on.
I need my bro time, dude. Can't just hang out. Can't hang out with a bunch of females.
Yeah, man, I would probably end it because I wouldn't want to hang out with chicks.
Anyway, the show's good so far. I would definitely watch it.
It'd be I would have to teach them all how to play football, and then teach the other ones who don't know how to play football good to play fantasy football, and that's just a lot of work.
Yeah,
and I watch women's basketball. That's rough.
Oh boy.
I'm just kidding. Women's basketball is actually awesome, and softball is awesome. But you know what I would probably do actually, and Derek would appreciate this, is I would start a fantasy softball league. I'd start from scratch.
Oh yeah.
I would just start fantasy leagues from things that chicks are interested in.
Yeah.
Like the
Fantasy scrapbooking.
I was thinking about other.
It would have to be like
things we could say. Fantasy Pinteresting.
Fantasy housekeeping.
Fantasy cleaning and making sandwiches.
Fantasy flower shows.
Fantasy watching the Great British Bake Off.
Fantasy Cake Boss.
Okay, first off, did you guys
Now
watch
saying things that I like?
The Great Pottery Challenge?
That might be where I drew the line.
It's so good. It made me cry a couple times because it's that good.
Most things make me cry.
Crying makes me cry.
I've cried on like 20. I've cried on like 20 different shows.
Oh, speaking of, okay, one more show. One more show. Res Dogs is good, but also if it just keeps making me cry every episode, I'm not gonna watch it. Like if you're just trying to lure me in with some fun, lighthearted jokes, but then like you're gonna hit me with like a hard cry every episode, I'm not gonna watch your show anymore.
Yeah. If I wanted to do that, I'd just watch
shows that I know it's gonna make me cry.
Yeah,
like Ted Lasso. The whole new season's made me cry every episode.
I have to reinstall Apple TV for season 3. I've only watched like the first 2 episodes of the new season.
Well, you're still on my family plan, just so you know.
Episode 2 or whatever, or season 2, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, right. See, that's the thing. Okay.
Yeah, you and Sean both are. So, and not only that, but you. Yeah, I'll resend it. But you also get access to anything that I have like linked to it. So I have other like AMC Plus. So the girl from Schmitt's Creek has her own show on AMC Plus. You sent me the trailer for it, Derek. It's all on there.
Yeah,
that show season. Oh, here we go. Got a football question, boys.
Hey, okay. Here's how we do this show. So we will actually get to sports. Well, we can start sports now. We welcome your fantasy question, and we will go over these. But what we like to do is we like to pick them at the same time.
Okay, this will be a good question for
and
you.
Then as we go through pick them.
Zach, you've done the double QB. I've never done it.
I've done the double QB. I also just dropped Matt Ryan, so that'll be an interesting question to answer. Happy to do so.
I think drop both of them and go get someone else. That's my answer.
So here's the deal, though, and I don't mind talking about this real quick. Matt Ryan's playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's going to have to pass.
Yeah.
Week 1, Arthur Smith was like, let's get this running game going. That's what he's used to. You could tell he put an emphasis on it. Matt Ryan looked embarrassing, by the way. It was like,
who's your backs? I don't even know who the backs are in
Mike Davis and Cordarrelle Patterson.
Mike Davis.
So Cordarrelle Patterson is officially a full-time back, and on only 7 carries, he had 54 yards. Mike Davis looked pretty good too, but when you're playing that far behind, you have to stop running. And when it was in a situation where Matt Ryan had to pass, he missed a lot of stuff that younger Matt Ryan would have stepped into and made the completion. I like Tua right now because I think Tua has a lot of weapons. He's going to have another weapon come back this week in Fuller the 5th.
And
so then Waddle looked great week 1 for a rookie.
And Buffalo let the Steelers kind of throw the ball all over the field last week.
Well, that has nothing to do with this question, but
that's who Miami's playing is the Buffalo. Bills. Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers threw the ball all over the field. They scored 1 offensive touchdown and still won that game.
It's true.
They won that game with their defense and giving TJ Watt a bunch of money.
I mean, every time I looked up, it was Deontay Johnson or Juju or Claypool getting a pass.
Deontay Johnson and Claypool had some big plays, but they left a lot to be desired, as in there was some big plays they missed as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's Ben's fault. I think Deontay still has a drop problem. I think Claypool got missed on a couple, which is not anyone's fault. I think it's just, but it showed those threats are there. I don't know. Tua because of the weapons around him. Matt Ryan is going to field the pass rush of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's probably going to throw an interception or 2. I don't think that Tua turns the ball over, so maybe just go with that. Oh, Fuller is out for this week. So I need to go make that adjustment because I just put him in yesterday when I was projecting him at 13 points.
Thanks, Randy.
Randy's saving my bacon.
I benched him, so I'm pretty sure.
I'd be interested in who's on the waiver for Anthony as well, because you might want to move on from Matt Ryan altogether. Tough division, man. He's got to play the Saints twice, got to play the Bucs twice. There's a lot of rough times ahead. How did you guys do week 1, by the way? Did you guys win your matchups?
I won mine.
I don't want to talk about it.
I won both. Actually, I won both. I won my work league too.
So,
but I won really big in our league, though. I got a lot of points.
I really like my team in our league, like probably one of my favorite teams, but I did lose to Jeff. He had that 38-point Amari Cooper Thursday night that I just couldn't come back from. Mm-hmm. And then I was driving home between game 1 and game 2 last Sunday, and that's when Odell Beckham Jr. was announced out, so I didn't have a chance to replace him. And I think I only needed 14 points. So just put somebody in, right? Give myself a chance. But this week, no matter what, I'm keeping Odell on the bench, regardless of his status. That way I don't get myself in the same situation. Because I'm really bad these days at what I used to be good at, which is like staying on top of it all the way until games start. So I'm not doing that anymore. I don't live that life. I can't be on my phone all the time. So I put in the guys on Wednesday that I know are going to play, which Will Fuller I thought was one of them. So I probably wouldn't have checked before tomorrow, to be honest. I'm trying to stick to that set it and forget it mentality and not tinker myself out of situations.
For this next week, I kept it. I just made sure everybody was in, and I'm just leaving it the same. I did pretty good.
Who's your lead back? I can't remember.
I did go with Najee Harris. And I'm
right.
still going to take the risk with him this next time. I just don't think it was this first game of the regular season against the Buffalo Bills.
It's the Bills.
They have a great defensive line. So I was like, I'm gonna run with Najee again. He's still projected for 18 and a half points, basically.
Oh, I know. He's hopefully my savior this week in a couple leagues. I have Najee as my lead back in a league, and I have him as my number 2 in a different league. And I think he will get going. I hate to. I do have a league actually where I have 2 Giants, which was super rough, and it's Galladay and Saquon. And I got Saquon as my 3rd back, so that sounds great. But having Galladay and Saquon as your 2 flexes this week, they were the only 2 Giants who didn't get fantasy points.
Yeah.
You could have played Slayton. You could have played anybody else on that receiving core.
I had the option to play in one league. I had the option to play Galladay or Shepard. Guess what I did? Guess I didn't
Galladay?
play. Yeah.
So
but I did play Shepard in one league. So
I have Chase Edmonds as my other back, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. I have him in as well. So that's funny. I have a league where I also have Najee and Chase as my 2.
That's
so
funny.
Interesting. So yeah, the Thursday night game was interesting because it was actually a good game. It's funny how much people were thrashing Danny Dimes going into it and then praising him afterwards. And that's why I don't watch ESPN anymore. And I'll say it every week on the show. It's garbage. The same people that morning of were talking about how Daniel Jones he's just not that guy to win games. As in, and you see it, if you watch the first half of that game, you do see it. It'll be 3rd and 11 and he'll throw a 5-yard pass. And you just don't understand why a guy would do that. But here's what they do. He stays up for too long on a run and may or may not fumble. And they say he stays up for too long. He needs to go down. And then sometimes he goes down early and doesn't pick up the first. You actually saw it in the first quarter of the game. He does an option play, bootlegs to the left. And right before he gets to the first down, he falls. And he ends up actually being like a foot short. And then they give him a hard time for that. So it just feels like they've already decided they don't like Daniel Dimes and they're going to point out every mistake. But by the end of the game, it felt like Troy Aikman was like praising him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's a weird situation. By the end of the game, they made it seem like it was everyone else's fault but his. When the whole first half of the game, they painted the picture that he's the reason they're not doing well. But yeah, I had Saquon. I still like Saquon. He had 50 yards in the first half, and he just kind of disappeared in the second. But he still showed he can bust a big run. And Galladay, they missed him on probably three throws, 3 or 4 different throws. One, he dropped a big one, but he's getting a lot of looks. So if you have Galladay, keep him moving forward, I think. That being said, real life football, I think the Giants are going to lose a lot of games close this year.
Yeah.
Like that's the feel I got from both.
Yeah.
And the Washington Football Club for men is going to be in a lot of close games. Like win or lose, you can see it with the Chargers the week before. You saw it with the Giants now. They're not elite enough on offense to gain any separation.
Mm-hmm.
Although McLaurin's an awesome weapon and their running backs are awesome as well. Like, is it McKissick and who's the starter?
McKissick and Gibson.
Gibson looks awesome. And like they have the weapons around. I think you guys might like their quarterback a little more than I do, though. I'm still not necessarily sold on Heineke.
I love me a little bit of Heineke, baby.
I truthfully haven't watched him play.
So what's interesting about him is they keep acting like he's a young guy. So they say, even when Fitzpatrick comes back, keep playing Heineke because, he's just learning the game. The dude's like 28 years old.
Yeah.
He's just now getting a shot. Like I think they said like 2 years ago, he was taking math classes to try to figure out what he was going to do next with his life because he didn't think it was going to be football. And then somehow it's a good story. I think it's a great story on him making the league, but to say like, let's develop this young talent instead of Fitzpatrick is ridiculous to me. But I heard it a lot this week on sports radio. It's go with the young guy. He's not young.
I mean, he's younger. He's younger than Fitzpatrick.
They're both stopgaps to whoever they draft next year, though.
Yeah, I mean, whoever they play this year isn't going to be the quarterback next year.
Here we go.
Also, some other people I got on my bench: Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. Okay, we will definitely get to that fantasy question now that we're got the Pickem open.
Yeah,
someone hit us with a double decker question in there.
Yeah, I like it. I saw it. Should we start going through Pickem?
I think so. I mean, we're already covering the first game.
Yeah. So about the first game, my only real takeaway from it is it just didn't seem like they could really get their running game going, which in New York seems pretty important considering they have Saquon Barkley. I guess I'm starting to get on that train of like I don't pay a running back to extend. Like I'm understanding the whole argument I've been hearing saying since Le'Veon, which when we had so coming from a Steeler point of view, when we had Le'Veon, I remember being like the guy that's like just pay the guy. But
right,
yeah.
But now even Le'Veon didn't deliver in New York, didn't really deliver in Kansas City. Now he's a Raven, and
he's not going to play in Baltimore.
No,
and so
So the Steelers called the bluff, and it seems like it was the best call.
Yeah, because James Conner did good.
Yeah, I mean he was
enough.
He did good enough for what they needed at that time. I used to just be more on the side of just pay the guy, but now I was way more so that way for TJ Watt. Like for defense, I'm like pay the guy.
And now then he came out.
I'm starting to. I get it now.
Yeah,
or I'm getting it now more.
Yeah, some people didn't understand the value of the TJ Watt thing, but the guy got two sacks in his very first game. I mean, the guy's probably going to lead. I mean, there was the Chandler Jones 5-sack game, but the guy's going to end up leading the league in sacks by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's the one who ended the contract negotiation. It wasn't like he was the one who chose to just go get on the field. So if anyone has a problem with how much money he got paid, I don't understand it. But there are people out there that do. It's usually old people.
Oh, yeah.
But with the Saquon thing, I mean, yeah, we saw it with Ezekiel Elliott, right? Like what has he done since he got paid?
Right.
And maybe that changes. I think it could change as soon as this week. We'll get there, but
I don't think so.
Saquon didn't necessarily look bad.
No.
Their run game looked bad.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately matters more.
He's still also, he just got back from a pretty big injury.
They pointed out in the game, and I've heard this be pointed out before, but when someone tears their ACL, it's usually the second year back that they look normal again.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone that could recover from that, it's Saquon. Saquon is like the athletic type talent that Adrian Peterson was, where he could still play football in his mid-30s,
Yeah.
So if someone else with his praise got the same injury, I probably wouldn't be as likely to have faith in them, but he's just different. I think he'll be fine. And I think as the year goes on, he will slowly get better. I think the team will get better. Like I said, Galladay had a lot of drops. I did go with the Washington Football Club in that game, luckily. But by the end of it, I was a little nervous. That game was very back and forth. New York gave the ball back to Washington at the exact right time. Derek, you said you didn't watch the game?
I didn't watch the game, but I watched highlights after.
The only thing you need to know is how many penalties New York had compared to how many penalties Washington had. It was at one point, it was 10-1. One team had 10 penalties for over 100 yards, and the other team had 1 penalty for 5 yards or something like that. At the end of the game, the Giants had the ball with 2 minutes to go and the best field goal kicker in the game right now, and they found a way to screw it up. So, that's the one thing maybe that you can give Daniel Dimes a hard time for is game management. Yeah, there's Jeff, so many penalties. It was rough to watch. I was texting a bunch of different people during the game, and it was the same narrative. Daniel Jones actually looks good. He is the most athletic person that people don't act like is athletic that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's weird. He doesn't. He's running and he's moving, and I'm like, how he doesn't look like he can move like that. But he does.
He's also fast. I mean, remember he had that huge break. He tripped and fell at the end, but he's not slow.
So I guess if you didn't watch the game, the story of mistakes, right, Derek? In the first half, he had a option that he ran, and every time he kept it, right? So if they ran it with him and Saquon, he always took the ball and bootlegged every time. One of the times he took it for a touchdown, 50 or 60 yards. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was a massive one. He looked like the fastest guy on the field, and their receiver held about 25 yards, 20 yards down the field. So he still got the first, but it got called back from being a touchdown. And little plays like that, there was 3 or 4 of them, just really added up. So he ends up with a pretty mediocre stat line: 1 touchdown, no picks, less than 300 yards passing, but all that other stuff doesn't happen, and he actually has a monster game.
Jeff, that sounds about right for watching the game in public. That sounds about right.
I mean, I honestly always scream Daniel Jones is a bum, but he was playing my boy. He was playing my boy Heineke.
But you have to be realistic that Heineke is not as good as Daniel Jones.
Tell that to the team that is winning.
So did you guys both choose Washington Football Club?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
and I did because I have zero faith in Daniel Jones.
It's easy for me to say it, having not chosen anybody, but I probably would have chosen Washington just being at home. So anyway, but I didn't. So the first game for Sunday, though.
Sunday.
I went with the Bengals over the Bears. Now, ordinarily, I could really consider the home game here, but I feel like I picked this game because of Joe Burrow, basically.
Okay.
The Chicago defense didn't look quite themselves.
Yeah, and their offensive line looked bad. Their offensive line looks like there's a reason they're not letting their rookie quarterback go out there and get pummeled. Because we saw with Joe Burrow last year, right? We saw what happens if you let a guy go out there with a bad line. The Bengals' defensive line last week looked awesome, and I thought that was supposed to be one of their weaknesses along with their offensive line. Yep. And their offensive line didn't look great. Joe looked under a lot of pressure in the first half, but he looked sharp in the second. I was really torn on this game. This was the most 50-50 game. Bears early a -2 at home, and I have my personal rule where if a home team's only a -2, the only reason the odds makers are giving it to them is because they are the home team, which leads me to believe that the away team is actually better. But in this particular situation, I feel like Andy Dalton's going to play really well against his old team. It just feels like one of those types of games to me, so I actually am going with the Bears.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked the Bengals. They just look, I don't know. I just feel like they'll outscore.
But one thing I took into consideration is that I actually don't think the Vikings are that good. So that's another thing that took with a grain of salt.
Which is silly because I picked the Vikings last week because I
think I also picked the Vikings last week.
I just felt
we all did.
I feel like the Vikings shouldn't be that bad.
I don't know.
I guess we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
All right, so up next we got the Houston Texans at the Cleveland Browns. I thought this is a no-brainer. I don't even really have anything for it other than the Browns are going to probably win this game.
Yeah.
I like seeing Tyrod look good last week.
Yeah.
And cool. All of their running backs got a little bit of a chance to shine. Ingram was obviously the primary ball carrier for people that thought it maybe Philip Lindsay like I did, like a dumb shit. Philip Lindsay still got his touchdown, though. And then David Johnson still caught a touchdown, though. So they're starting to establish their roles. I actually like some of the people around Tyrod, but
That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't think this is a close game. I think it's in Cleveland. They have the better defense. They have the better offense. I still don't like their quarterback in clutch time. I'll say that. He proved it again last week.
It was a heartbreaker for me, man.
But the good news for him is there will be no clutch time in this game, probably.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have to worry about that. So I'm with you. We can move on.
You're crazy, Jeff. You're crazy.
LA Rams against the Colts. I went with the Rams on the road. I just don't trust the Colts. I don't trust Carson Wentz. I trust their defense still, though, a little bit. So I could see them definitely. I don't think they're not going to give it to the Rams. I don't think. But I do think the Rams are going to come away with a win on this. This is how I looked at it. The Rams do travel well. Even though it's a West Coast team going to the East Coast, if any team can go to the East Coast and get a win like this, it'd be the Rams. They travel well. That's weird.
Yeah, and this isn't like a slight on the Colts by any means. It's just that the Rams look like a Super Bowl contender, right? Like they came out week 1, they did what they needed to do. Stafford looks like he's going to be that guy. I know preseason some people were torn either way. Like Stafford finally has a chance. He finally has talent. He has a good team around him. And then other people said, we already know who he is,
Right.
I don't think that's fair.
It was pretty 50-50 though. Like people's opinions on it were he's been in the league 10 years. If he would have wanted to show us something, he would have showed us something. Right.
His stats aren't terrible.
Stats aren't wins though. Like
True.
This in today's NFL, everyone passes the ball. What quarterback looked bad last week besides for Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Everyone passes for 300 yards, but who wins games? And that's the same.
Jameis Winston did not throw for 300 yards.
He didn't need to. He got 5 touchdowns.
It was insane. It was 150 yards.
Wow. That's like a college game. You see that in like college games. I went with the Rams also. I just think they're so damn good.
I went with the Rams. I think they got the better deal out of the trade. Although, Jared Goff didn't look bad, but we'll talk about that too.
Oh yeah, that's all. That is true.
Can you go back to Rendon's question real quick? I mean, we've talked about a couple of these teams, so I'm kind of interested in answering this.
This top question.
10-10 PPR Superflex. So 1, 2, 3. Are you just wondering like who your 10th guy is going to be? Because this looks already like like your team's already set. Like I see your bench. Like if you look at the next one, but I mean the one person in question in your starting lineup is Deontay Johnson. Like Jamar Chase, preseason, all that stuff that made him drop in the draft. It's over. Dude can run routes. Dude can catch the ball. Jamar Chase is already the best offensive player on the Bengals. So he's locked in. I would be at a point where I would lock in Robert Woods every week for now. So it's like just how you feel about Deontay, switching him in or out. His backup receivers are very good. Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Boyd didn't show it yet. I mean, if you're going to play Jamar Chase, never play Tyler Boyd. You never double down on that combo. But last week, Tyler Boyd kind of looked like the odd man out. I don't know if you guys watched that game.
I agree with you.
The pecking order went Jamar Chase, Higgins deep, which they finally cut Joe loose in the second half. And then Tyler might have a game where people really focus on those two and he can eat in the slot. But until you see it, it's like Juju Smith-Schuster for the Steelers. Their talent on the outside is so good that Juju might just have a game where he gets 10 catches in the slot, but when's that going to happen? Risky move. So I guess Brendan, I would want to know exactly what you're asking, or if you're just bragging about that super luscious team you got.
Yeah, that team's sexy.
Yeah, I think he's just rubbing it in our face. If you ask me, he's just saying, I got Kyler Murray and Josh Allen,
and then also
and McCaffrey.
Who the fuck are you playing with to get those two quarterbacks?
And still have that much depth at your skill positions. That's what's crazy. Is usually if you're going to get quarterbacks like that, you're skipping a receiver early to get one of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, congrats, man. Congrats, good on you. The next game, speaking of Josh Allen, is Bills at the Dolphins.
I hope he looks better this week.
I went with the Bills in this game, even though I do think the Dolphins could snag a little win. A division
win.
A division win at home. Like, I think the Dolphins are actually fully capable of winning this game. But I still just feel safer taking the Bills on the road against the Dolphins.
Man, I really like the Dolphins defense, though.
Yeah.
Are they still shining bright?
They look as good as last year. I think the offense is a little better, though. So that's kind of how you have to look at it. Is they were a playoff team without an offense last year, and now they have one.
Yeah.
But the Bills are a top 3 defense.
Yeah.
They're much improved at the receiver position as well. I know Emmanuel Sanders isn't like a huge replacement for John Brown. They're the same dude, but he's slightly better. Everyone else is slightly improved. The one thing is they got to get a running game. I said it in the show last week. I think I said in the show the Bills are going to regret not having a running game. This could be another game like that. It just now they're really banking on Singletary, and I don't think he's a 20+ carry a game guy.
And we don't trust Zach Moss, right? Like we've decided that.
He was a healthy scratch.
Actually, answer this question for Schurzy answer maybe.
Tua's
Tua.
at home in this game. I don't think that we're going to see the Bills lock Tua down the way that they locked Ben down. And I'm not saying that it's all Ben's fault, but Ben's just simply old at this point. He is simply old, and the Bills have a fast defense.
I did love that little run that he had.
Yeah. His runs aren't run, they're scampers. Remember back in the day, they would call him scamper. The quarterback scampered out of the pocket because there was no term for it. The guy's not running. But Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner back in the day, these guys scamper.
What is that? What's that old saying? When the Clydesdale runs, you watch, or whatever. When the Clydesdale's moving, you watch.
I've never heard that saying, but I like it.
Julian Edelman said it about Tom Brady.
Oh.
He was getting interviewed, and they asked him about the run, and Julian Edelman goes, "When the Clydesdale runs, you watch."
I mean, that's a beautiful quote by someone that there's a reason I hadn't heard it before.
Yeah,
he's someone that when he starts talking, I stop listening. But
come on,
that's a good quote. I'm an anti-Edelman guy all the way.
I love him. He's handsome.
Well, that's not a reason to like someone in my
opinion.
know
me, I'm shallow, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Jimmy
You're all
G.
face, man.
I am. I keep watching you move your picks, and I think it's me, and so I'm like way behind.
That's funny.
Sean, real question though: did you take the Bills? I don't know if we actually.
Asked. Yeah, I did. No,
okay.
And I took the Rams. I don't know if did I commit to that too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Patriots at the Jets. I'm just not comfortable taking the Jets at all. Until I see a win, maybe there's them and one other team, and you'll know who it is. But the Patriots, I liked what I saw from Mac Jones. I thought it felt reminiscent of what the Patriots do, and it felt like a normal. It just felt like a Patriots game, didn't it? It was.
He's already feeling cocky. I don't know if you guys saw that clip of him winking at the defensive player.
Oh yeah, I mean I saw it. The other thing that came out is that there's a reason they got rid of Sony Michel. Harris is the guy. This might be the least committee backfield that I've ever seen in New England, at least in the last 10 years. So I think James White's still going to sneak out there from time to time. I know they had a couple other guys that we thought might get playing time, but they at least for now have a pretty established number one running back, which is pretty cool. Is he just going to keep posting Mac 10? Have you guys seen that Jeff's just posting it over and over again? New York, this is just a big old who cares, right? Like,
yeah.
Besides for Corey Davis, who is he going to play this week? I'm kind of concerned. If he does play, they're just going to double cover him all day. So Corey Davis is a guy that I took a risk on this year as my second flex in like 3 different fantasy leagues. So I hope he does well, but I think last week he kind of shined a little too bright. So the Patriots are really good at shutting down the number one receiver on a team.
Yeah. Gilmore was out last week, right?
Yeah, but they're going to be all over Corey Davis if he's playing. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not really about that. They don't do single coverage on a number one wide receiver in New England. That is not their MO. They make you pass the ball to someone else, and I don't know who else they have.
If the Patriots go to the Super Bowl and win with Mac Jones, I'm not watching football.
I mean, it's Davis and then Crowder, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. They have Crowder, he's a guy.
He is a guy, and he can shine, but he also loves to be not that healthy ever.
I have the Patriots.
I picked the Patriots. Okay. It's hard to have faith in Zach.
Speaking of faith, yeah, I think some people are torn on this as well. Did the Eagles win people over on actually being a good team last week, or were they just playing the Falcons? Because if you pay attention, this is the reason I say this. If you pay attention to this particular pick, it's 73%, 27%. At one point, it was like 90 to 10%.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I say it.
I think, and then on top of Eagles looking good, the Niners and the Eagles always are like kind of a tough game. It's kind of always they always play good against each other. So
I went with the Niners just because I just felt like it was the better bet on this one. The Niners looked good. That was a tough game. That was actually a tough game.
Yeah.
The Lions looked good coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising.
I think there was a lot of injuries though. So for the Niners.
I'm not so worried about the Detroit comeback, to be honest. It was just a product. I think it was just simply a product of the Niners taking their foot off the gas for too long.
Like they do to lose Super Bowls.
I will say, not only that, but Sanders, man, it was a debate for me on who was going to be the number one guy in San Francisco. Is it Ayuk? Is it Sanders?
Are neither guy? Debo? Samuel?
Yeah. Oh, Samuel. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah. It's Debo, man. If he stays healthy.
He really made Garoppolo's numbers look better because, like, that one deep throw that was really just Danny throwing it, or what's his name? Garoppolo throwing it up in the air. Like, he lands in his hands, just completely dodges the corner, takes it like an extra 40 yards. I'm like, that's a good way for Garoppolo to look like he's a downfield threat in a game. Speaking of Garoppolo, by the way, did you remember the end of the Giants game on Thursday where they throw it to Shepard, who's wide open in the end zone and would have won the game? And
Slayton,
he just overthrows him. It was Slayton, not Shepard?
It was Slayton.
Okay. And that had the most Jimmy G flashback I've ever had, right?
Oh, dude,
to the Super Bowl, the way he overthrew him.
I literally laid on the ground and had cold sweats.
Yeah, like I was wondering if you were flashing back on that.
Oh, dude,
but no, I still think they're the better team. It's interesting that now that all of the coaches from Philadelphia that like to run the RPO are gone, that's what they're doing all the time. Like, it's the same offense, even though they've completely changed the staff as it was their Super Bowl year. They have a good running game, and that's why I was saying Sanders, is because I was thinking the running game for Philadelphia. That Hurts Sanders combo is interesting. Goddard taking over the number one tight end role is interesting. And Rieger finally looks good year 2. Their Devontae looks good. We'll see. This is a real test. Last week against the Falcons doesn't mean anything. Garbage defense, garbage team. This week we find out, but I'm going to go with the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even worried about Mostert being hurt for 8 weeks. I don't know how you feel about it, Sean. Elijah Mitchell looks pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't know what about Trey Sermon though? That was kind of like a thing, and
he was a healthy scratch though. Why?
Mitchell looked so good. Like why not ride that hot hand? See what it does. I say that because I have him in fantasy. I got him in like 3 leagues now. I was able to
Sermon or Elijah.
Oh, Elijah. I ended up getting him on the waiver.
I did the opposite. I banked on us not really knowing what your coaching staff likes to do, and I was like, now everyone's giving up on Sermon after only 1 week, so I went and swooped him.
Well, I have Sermon already in a couple as well.
Oh, so you doubled down.
So I have Mitchell and Sermon in this one I'm looking at here, and then in another one, I think I have Sermon. I wasn't able to get Mitchell. I tried.
Yeah,
I did get him in a
waiver spot.
Yeah.
I tinker too much, so I never have a good waiver spot. Next game. Next game, though, Raiders at Steelers.
Well, yeah, we all picked Niners. And yeah.
Oh, wait, I wanted to say my thing, guys. Sean and I decided that if Jimmy G ever like clashed his jaw with Greg Olsen, it would destroy the world.
Yeah, the world would end.
Yeah.
That was
the style.
I think that's the premise between that Rock movie San Andreas about the fault.
Yeah,
the actual San Andreas fault is actually just those two meeting in California, and if they like bro hugged and the two chins just even touched for a second, chaos would happen in the world. Not hard impact.
It said that
Jeff.
Shockwave, like Superman dying in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, exactly.
I went with the Steelers at home. First off, it was the Steelers at home. Secondly, I chose my team. Thirdly,
I chose my team.
Thirdly, I was fine with what I saw from Ben. He wasn't the best quarterback of the week. He wasn't the worst quarterback of the week. I am hoping to see more Najee Harris in this game.
Let's see. I mean, they had some good runs on, Baltimore had good runs on Vegas.
Yeah. And then also, I still liked what I saw. I liked that I saw Deontay Johnson actually catching passes. It seems like whatever chirps he had or whatever at the end of the season, looks like it might have enough times passed that he's just not simply exhausted.
Yeah.
He has proven himself to be the guy who's always going to be out there. Claypool is the guy who gets to sit out a few plays, but when he comes in, he's the deep threat. For me, I think the Steelers are going to have a pretty safe game this time. It's not going to be them airing it out a bunch. It's going to be more probably 20 plus carries to Harris, passing when they need to, spreading the ball around when they need to. The Raiders, I wasn't surprised by last week. It was Monday night John Gruden. I think he's only lost one Monday night game since coming out of retirement. I think he's 4-1 now. So I took that into consideration when making the pick. I also think Derek Carr is just simply a better quarterback than what anyone ever wants to admit.
Yeah, the boy has an arm.
Also, on that opening drive, they were smart and they brought Mariota in for that one option play where he took it like 40 yards up the middle. So good play calling, but this isn't Monday night anymore. So it's back to regular John Gruden.
Yeah.
It's also regular John Gruden on the road, and I believe Josh Jacobs is officially out.
He was hurt that whole game. He was limping the entire game.
But can they stop Waller? Here's the real question in the game. Outside of who we're picking, let's just say like our picks really don't matter. We don't know. Waller in the first half of that Ravens game, they were 1 for 10 throwing in the ball, and I'm like, they have to do something else. This isn't working. That 10 attempts to one player in the first half of the game is insane, especially a tight end. And they did not stop at all. The second half, they just did the exact same thing, but the difference was I believe they were 7 for 10. So it just started working.
Yeah.
It just started working, and I know they completed 10 to him in the second half, I believe.
They did because I have him in fantasy, and I was really hoping between him and Tucker, I could get
Now
bump I needed.
Now that said, though, I think the Steelers defense is a lot better than Baltimore's defense, though.
Yeah,
they are for sure better. I don't know. Too early to say a lot better for me because I do think the Ravens have always been a solid defensive team, an above average defensive team. Yeah. You guys are an elite defensive team, though. Like I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
So you're right. I would say you're right. This is a different game. I don't think they look as good, but I'm just telling you right now, if Waller has 10 catches.
Yeah.
And who's their backup? Their backup running back came over from Arizona. He was the starter in Arizona last year.
Is it Booker?
No, Booker's gone. Booker's in New York.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
I can remember seeing him run, but I can't.
He played for the Dolphins and he played for Arizona. Drake, Kenny Drake.
Oh, Kenny, yeah, Drake.
So they can still have a running game this year.
Yeah, they can.
I just don't like them traveling. I definitely don't like the Raiders winning 2 games in a row ever. And I think the Steelers, in my opinion, I know it's only 1 week, they do have the best defense that I saw in week 1. And Najee if Najee gets 100 yards, I will celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
I also would. I'm planning on starting Najee. Like he's my starting running back for our league. So like, I need him to start doing it now.
Yeah.
Or else I need to go find some running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard in that league. That
come on, buddy.
waiver wire is scarce. The next game is.
Buddy.
I took a lot of chances on him.
New Orleans, the darlings of week 1.
Oh, I picked the Raiders.
You did go with the Raiders.
I'm going with the Raiders. I liked what I saw.
All right. Okay.
Well, Jeff, we are about to talk about it. So
I took the Saints on the road. I just still
Yeah, we just got here.
So the Saints on the road I'm taking. I liked what I saw from Jameis Winston. I knew he would be the guy. He was good, as expected. Now that said, I did not hate Darnold.
Yeah.
No.
Darnold was exact. It's one game, small sample size, but Darnold, you show he's in even a slightly better team. He looked better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Sam Darnold to Dan Arnold connection, but and I'll say it every week. For those who don't know, Dan Arnold is a former New Orleans Saints tight end who is now on the Carolina Panthers. And I just wish I would have been in the room when they met each other.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold, and you are Dan Arnold. Nice to meet you.
You Sam Darnold.
Because that's how people introduce themselves to each other.
I'm going with on the road, though.
What are you doing, Zach?
I'm actually honestly on the fence with this because I kind of want to take Carolina at home just because I feel like a lot of people are going to take the Saints, and I feel like this would be the time for me to take a gamble, and it's not a huge. I don't think it would be a huge surprise.
I think the real difference in this game comes down to Kamara versus McCaffrey. Let's just call it what it is. The two best, in my opinion, two best running backs in the league, head to head.
All right, boys.
Whose defense stops who? I'm going New Orleans.
New Orleans. You got to go. Right after I messed up on Thursday, I went and chose all these. I'm gonna make a on-air decision. I'm gonna go with the Panthers actually at home.
I like it.
That's bold, man. I like the Saints defense so much better than I like the Saints or the Panthers defense. So much better. And because of that, like, once again, running back battle, I think it's more likely that McCaffrey gets limited than Kamara getting limited.
Now not only did I pick the Panthers, now I'm actually actively rooting for them, Jeff.
I mean, let's be real. We're all rooting for the Panthers. Sean?
But thank you, Jeff, for the correct usage.
You're going with New Orleans though, then, Zach?
Yeah, going New Orleans.
Okay. I actually had the Panthers picked.
Already.
Yeah. Yep. That
I'm sticking with my honor
because fuck the Saints.
Well, I'm really happy to get a game up on you guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate the freebie.
Well, I already gave you a freebie on me.
Yeah, I'll jerk you off right now.
Okay, prove it.
Okay. Broncos.
Me and McCall.
All right, so here's the other team. I am not taking the Jacksonville Jaguars until they win a game, but I also liked Bridgewater. So
I'm not taking the Jacksonville Jaguars if they win a game. The thing is the only team they probably could have beaten was the Texans, and they didn't beat the Texans.
And that's why I'm not taking the Jaguars. Like, if they would have beat the Texans, maybe I would consider. No.
And I trust Teddy Bridgewater, man.
I do too. I think this is a good improvement, like, from being on the Panthers last year. I think the Panthers are okay, but I think he went to a team that actually has a defense. And Denver needs to stockpile these out-of-conference wins, right? Like, it's going to be hard for them to beat the Chiefs at all. It's going to be hard for them to beat the Chargers. They need to win every game that is not an in-division game, excuse me. Yeah. They need to win the in-division, like, outside of division games. Just load up. Lawrence is not overhyped, Jeff. Lawrence is just on a very, very bad team.
Yeah.
Dude, didn't he throw for 300 yards last week? I mean,
he did.
I know every quarterback does, but
I wonder
he's
how
going to turn the ball over a lot on that team.
I wonder how he did for fantasy, at least.
3 picks was rough. So I think if you're going to go with a young guy right now, I think it starts Joe Burrow and then other people. Overhyped, cabbage.
I'd say like probably Joe Burrow and
cabbage.
Like these young quarterbacks like Joe Burrow,
Justin,
Herbert, Joe.
First 2 years, Herbert, Joe.
And then I'd say Mac Jones, just because of the way that Bill Belichick likes to.
I would say Mac Jones because he actually plays the entire game, right? Every other first or second year guy is not starting. Like, it's going to be a while before we see Fields full time. They're going to pepper him in. Mac 10. We shouldn't even brought it. Why'd you say his name?
My bad.
Why did you even say his name?
I picked the Broncos.
Yeah, except for if you say Mac Jones' name 3 times, he just shows up and gives you the game ball.
Yeah,
like he's just a good sport.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that, but he threw his first NFL touchdown and he gave the ball away. Like he didn't keep it; he gave it to the guy who caught it, which is just like it makes him just even. He's like even more of Tom Brady than he ever was before. Like he's slowly morphing into Tom Brady. 5 years from now, you won't be able to tell the difference physically. They'll just be the same guy.
Ronald Jones. Not Ronald Jones.
Rojo is still the guy, but I
don't know, man.
So
I'd go James Robinson, but I like James Robinson.
James Robinson's probably the best of the 3, but the problem is at this point, 1, he's on the Jaguars. 2, he's losing some carries in the Jaguars offense now. Like their backup. Who am I trying to think of? Why am I drawing so many blanks today?
Don't know his name. Don't even know.
Yes, you do. Their backup's a veteron.
James Conner?
No, he's at Arizona.
Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde.
I should know that name, huh?
Carlos Hyde is taking some carries away from the guy. Latavius loses carries to his quarterback.
And Ronald Jones. Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette looked pretty fucking good.
The thing is Latavius is a touchdown machine. But once again, he loses touchdown. Look, like he could have probably had multiple touchdowns in that last game. He got 1, but he could have had multiple if his quarterback was not their number 1 red zone option. So that's rough. I like Latavius the most out of the 3. I would James Robinson probably, right?
If Latavius was for sure slated as the number 1 guy.
Wait, real quick, Aaron, is this PPR standard? That's what I want to know. Throw that in there. Might answer the question. Standard.
Are either 3 of these guys more PPR? Like who Latavius? Well, does Latavius catch? Is he known for his hands?
Not too much.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't think any three of them are.
Rojo would probably be the best PPR guy out of the 3.
Yeah.
It's against the Falcons, man.
Yeah.
So actually, fun fact about, I believe, Rojo and Leonard Fournette is they both don't do well against the Falcons. It's weird. It's like the one team that we play good run defense against. But I'm not even considering Rojo in this debate. It's James Robinson or Latavius.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. I don't know.
And that's
a coin.
Yeah.
Minnesota at the Cardinals. I'm picking the Cardinals.
I don't think there's much to say.
No, there really isn't. I have Murray in my work league, so like I need him to give me 40 points again.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably will.
But they looked good.
The only thing I got to say about this game is beware of Adam Thielen. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. You got to. I spent all last show talking about how he's old now. It turns out people don't get that washed in 1 year, in one off season.
Turns out he's still pretty good.
Yeah, he if we're talking red zone attempts, they're going to go him over Justin Jefferson. If we're talking about stretching the field, we're talking about Justin Jefferson. We're talking about a real football game, though. That's whatever. Because if we're talking about who's going to score more points, it's going to be Arizona.
Yeah.
And we saw the Bengals put a bunch of pressure on the Vikings last week, and they're the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
So let's throw Chandler Jones into the mix and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Cardinals have a good defense. I don't think they do, but I think they get after the quarterback. And in today's NFL, throw for as many yards as you can, and then defensively get after the quarterback. You'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
You all took the Cards then?
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Falcons.
Can we just skip this one?
We got to say who we pick first, and then we can skip it.
Yeah,
I picked the Buccaneers.
I took them because it said 99% picked. I just felt like
I'd
be a fucking idiot if I didn't.
I'm looking at that and it makes me want to switch, but
yeah, sometimes the odds are just so bad that it's tempting. It's the biggest spread of the weekend. It's a 12.5.
PPR, yeah.
Ooh.
Jamal Williams. Oh yeah, I forgot Jamal Williams.
Ooh, I love me some Jamal Williams. If PPR and Jamal Williams, why don't you go ahead and just throw a curveball, Aaron, and sneak in some Jamal?
Yeah, why don't you just lift up the covers and throw a little Jamal in there?
Oh yeah.
Tampa Brady.
The Cougs. I am also watching the Cougs right now.
Oh, the Cougs are on, dude. Let me throw the fucking Cougs on, bud.
In the history of my lifetime, this is the worst WSU team I've ever seen. And I'm not trying to be mean. I have always had a soft spot for them, but they are bad.
I was going to throw a soft spot for USC considering you're a Longhorns fan.
What's up?
What?
No,
I said what I said.
I said you've had a soft spot for USC, but you're a Longhorns guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a Longhorns guy. I'm kind of a Ducks guy.
I know.
I'm kind of a Longhorns for basketball guy.
But that Longhorns in USC time period was like one of the best in college football ever.
Right.
Vince Young, Reggie Bush.
But what I'm saying is WSU back then was always just sneaky good, right? Yeah. This is not a sneaky good WSU team. If we can just kind of pivot to college football for a hot second.
Yeah.
Losing their coach was a huge loss. They can't make up their mind on who their quarterback is. They're pretty rough to watch right now. I'm not saying by the end of the year they might not get it together, but right now they're rough to watch. And you know what? So is USC. Now that Jeff's throwing his stuff in there. The Pac-12 is all Ducks UCLA this year. So
yeah, the Ducks are looking real good. When do they play? When do they play?
They play today. Later at some point.
What time? What channel?
Zach, did you take
Pac-12? It's called Fox FS1. Yeah, I mean, I didn't debate this for a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dallas at the Chargers.
I'm kind of shocked about this.
Shocked about what?
Tell
me more.
Well, I'm shocked that the percentage is more leaning towards Dallas.
Yeah, it's because they got the what is that called?
A victory?
The moral victory last week, right?
Yeah.
They almost won a game. I don't know how much we have to talk about this, but in the NFL, everyone almost wins games.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Actually,
the
you know
Giants almost built the Giants almost built Washington on Thursday.
You know when a game starts, both teams are almost winning. Like it's
Yeah, the Giants or the Dallas Cowboys hung in there with a fully healthy offense, right? Like Dak Prescott played. So yes, they're going to hang in a lot of games. Their defense is dog shit. At the end of the game, Tom Brady just did exactly what we know Tom Brady does, which is easily march down the field and get a field goal.
Yeah.
It's Tom Brady who has more experience doing that, and he has the best receiving core in the league, not even close. Like, I know Derek, as a Steeler fan, you might not want to admit this, but Antonio Brown was the best offensive player on the field on either team last week.
Yeah.
Anyways, this game.
Sorry.
Dallas probably has the second best receiving core in the league.
They do. Yeah, they all look
when Michael Gallup's your third best and CeeDee Lamb's your second best.
Did C Lamb got hurt? Is he out, or is he got hurt during that game? Didn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's playing.
Okay, he's good. It was just
and maybe that's why this is close. But what did you guys? I mean, I see Derek pick the Chargers.
I'm going. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert.
I will never ever pick against Justin Herbert unless it's the Niners or the Browns.
Jeff says CeeDee's good.
Yeah, good to go. Man, this is a hard game because I think Amari Cooper is going to do the same thing this week that he did last week, and that's what makes it hard for me.
Yeah.
I think CeeDee Lamb's they're going to move the ball. Are they going to move it 403 yards for Dak Prescott? Well, probably not. I think that was just we see this a lot on those opening Thursday games, right? Both teams either look really good or they look really bad. Either way, a team can move the ball on offense. It's pretty easy week one, especially on the early Thursday night game. This is not that. So I think Dallas is going to cool their jets a little, and I don't think the Dallas defense stops the Chargers at all. So I'm going with the Chargers as well. I will change my mind about Dallas when Ezekiel Elliott also looks like he can contribute in some way.
That's exactly for me too. If the running game looked better, I might feel different.
He's great in pass protection though, but that's he should be catching the ball a little bit, running the ball a little more.
Yeah.
His backup looks like he cares more about playing football than Ezekiel Elliott.
Pollard?
Dude runs hard.
Yeah.
Not that he won't pass Ezekiel, but
Zeke's always like, I'm so hungry, but dude, you don't look hungry, bro.
You look pretty full, my dude.
You look like you got
full, my guy.
You look like you got paid and you're a shitty running back now.
He's not. I don't think he's shitty, but he just looks full, and we can tell he's full because he wears those belly shirts. And we can see Tom. Yeah. I can see how full you are. You don't need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So
you chunky monkey.
Yeah. Who did you go with? Sean, you didn't say.
You already know, baby.
Chargers. You're not gonna pick against Herbert. You said that, but you didn't lock it in.
Yeah, that's true.
Seattle at home against the Titans. I just felt like it was a safe bet to take Seattle at home. I think the Titans could win, but I was not impressed with them in their last game. Obviously, I think I took the Titans to win in the last game too. I can't remember.
You did.
I think we all did.
I think we all did. Yeah.
Yeah, we all did.
I'm not going against the Seahawks at home.
Me neither. Seattle. Big dick DK Metcalf all over the field.
I think this game is going to look eerily similar to the Seahawks Colts game last week.
Yeah.
To a T. I think the Titans are comparable on offense to the Colts and with probably a little bit worse of a defense, which is scary because this is in Seattle. I personally don't give Tennessee a chance in this game. This is actually, besides for the obvious one, which is Falcons at Tampa, this is the game that I would say, if you made me pick one that I would lock in, I would lock this game in.
Yep. Locked in and loaded.
I've come a long way from a guy who used to only say bad things about the Seahawks.
You know,
I'm older.
Me too. And that's because I think because I got so into fantasy football, it's hard for me to have so much hate, especially when a player like DK Metcalf, who is just insane, Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett makes about DK, plays. But Tyler is the guy.
Both guys, they make their plays when they score those touchdowns. It's just beautiful football, and I love it.
Sometimes, man, you can say whatever you want about how good you think Russell Wilson is. Sometimes he's just lobbing the ball up there.
Yeah, he's pulling a Patrick Mahomes and saying "fuck it," someone's down there.
I think they do a sports science on it about how high he can actually throw the ball. Like it's going higher than it is far. So like that leaves a lot of room to not be accurate. You don't have to be. You just have to get it up there. And Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf are just going to get under the ball. Yeah. And it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I took the Kansas City Chiefs on the road against Baltimore. This is a Sunday night game. I just felt more comfortable with Kansas City after Baltimore lost to Oakland. I think Kansas City is just a more rounded team. I had a hard time going against them in this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens won. It's in Baltimore.
Yeah. Agree. I think it might be closer than we think, but I pick Kansas City.
There's no game this season I won't pick Kansas City unless an injury happens. So
yeah.
I don't have a lot to talk about. I was pleasantly surprised by like Tyson Williams and Latavius, and I think one day we're just going to have to admit that Baltimore can't really throw the ball when it matters. So they're a little bit limited playing from behind.
Yep.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson isn't that good of a quarterback.
You know what though? I don't think he's bad.
I don't think,
if you look at that draft class, I still like him more than everyone else in that draft class. I like him more than Josh Allen, Darnold, and Baker Mayfield. Give me him every day.
I think I like Josh Allen more.
Overrated as hell, and I'm a part of the problem because I spent the last 3 years talking about him being the best one, and I don't believe that anymore. I think he's.
You don't believe that because of one game?
And I just started to not believe it like midway through last year. There was a lot of hype for that guy, and he got his completion percentage up. Good for him, and he's athletic. But I don't think he's winning that many tough games.
We'll see what tune you're singing in a couple weeks.
Probably a completely different
one.
But
I agree. I would probably go like. For me, it'd be Josh Allen, Lamar.
Baker.
Yeah. I wish Baker was better, but he just refuses to be.
It's his. Yes. I agree.
I would also be willing to see what Sam Darnold does with another team too from that draft class, just because I'm just still interested. I'm still intrigued and interested in what Sam Darnold can do.
Well, and I think he's on that different team now. I think he's got a good offensive-minded play caller. He's got weapons. There's zero offensively. I'm not saying that it's up to him to win games, but I'm saying just for putting up numbers, he has no excuse this year.
Yep. That's true. All right, so Monday night game. The Lions at the Packers. I took the Packers. Let's
see what I did. Did I? Yeah. I just don't see them having as bad as a performance as they did.
Yeah. This was like the Packers bounce back game.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the overall consensus. I don't think that it would be fun. Personally, it would be fun for me if the Lions won this game. People know I like Aaron Rodgers. As a kid who didn't like the Packers, well, there are some people, but man, I just think it's going to be fun to see how many games they could potentially lose this year, because he's already acted like this is the final year with the team. He's got to prove that he can still play that way. Another team picks him up next year. It'd just be funny if he came back and ruined it. Like if by the end of the year they just straight up benched him for Love anyways while they still have him.
Yeah,
I would love that, because I like bad things to happen. And he's got to stop slicking that long hair back. He's got to.
Good God.
Yeah, no, I like it. Fuck it. I like what he's doing.
Jeff hit us with the Jamal Williams 3 touchdowns. I could see him catching one, running one. Listen, he's balling out against his old squad, and I want to see it. Sadly, though, I do think those will be in garbage time. I think the Packers, narrative correct, they're going to bounce back from the embarrassment against the Saints.
They have to. There's no way.
I don't think the best quarterback of all time doesn't bounce back from a game like that.
So, yeah.
I had a lot more points than you did, by the way. You went with 28 total points right there. I went with 56.
Jeez, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll change mine.
Yeah, now I'm going to change mine. I'm gonna go with 48. No,
12. I'm gonna go with 12
because someone has to lose.
I'm gonna go with 10-2, a touchdown and a field goal against a safety.
I'm gonna go with solid 50.
You just keep you've literally moved it up every time that you've said a number.
I'm going to 30.
I had it at 32.
Can I bet $1, Bob?
You guys are just gonna. Oh, you said 56. I'm gonna go 57. 55.
What do you bet? I bet $1, Bob.
So we agree that the Packers will hopefully bounce back.
Pretty big consensus. I think the only game that I disagreed with you guys on is the Panthers game, and is that it? Did we agree on everything else?
Pretty much.
No, because I picked the Raiders.
Yeah. You did.
Oh, and I have the Bears over the Bengals.
Well, that's it. Wow.
That's all she wrote, dude.
And that's how I beat you. And that's how I win.
How we do this week. Thanks, everybody, for watching the show. We appreciate your patronage.
The supporters, our athletic supporters.
I like calling them patronages.
Shout out to all the YouTube people that threw us questions. That's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
Same Z's.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy your football watching. I think today's got some. There actually are some really good college football games today. I think tomorrow. I think some of the games for Sunday should be really good.
I think this is a stacked weekend.
I didn't really think there was a toilet bowl game.
There's not.
Oh, guys, but this can't be the first.
No, there is one. There's one. It's the Jaguars game.
Sure.
Denver versus the Jaguars is probably the toilet bowl of the week.
Could be. Yeah.
Let me just
too interesting.
Bears Bengals is probably
that's pretty dumpster.
Bengals could be all right.
I mean, the toilet bowl's already happened. It was the Giants versus Washington.
No, dude, Tyler Heineke.
I wouldn't say it because it was actually a fun game to watch. But yes, have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Go Warriors. Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats. Go Life.